In North Carolina, where mail ballots start going out tomorrow, President Trump continued his attack on voting by mail, suggesting Wednesday that voters test the system by voting twice, once by mail and then again at the polls to see if they can do it.
So let them send it in and let them go vote. And if their system's as good as they say it is, then obviously they won't be able to vote.
That prompted a stern warning from election officials and prosecutors.
To go and try to vote a second time as a way to test the system is a felony in North Carolina. Do not do that. It's a terrible idea.
Election experts say it won't work anyway. Here's why. If a voter is sent a mail-in ballot, that's noted in the official voting record. When voters show up in person, a poll worker checks their names in an electronic or printed version of that record. It flags those who were sent an absentee ballot, shown in this example from Michigan with red question marks. If they insist they never sent it in, they get what's called a provisional ballot, which won't be counted if it turns out the mail ballot was sent after all. Experts on the nation's election system say duplicate votes are easily flagged.
If someone were to vote twice, even if they did so innocently or they forgot what they had done, that will be caught.
Many states allow voters to track their mail-in ballots online to make sure they're received. But today, the president encouraged people who vote by mail to go to the polling place on Election Day anyway to see if there is a record of it, and if not, to vote in person. Tonight, state election officials advise against that, saying it will just slow down the voting line for everyone else. And now Twitter says the president's tweet violates its rules on election integrity.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.